Hello, everyone, and welcome to SUNY Plattsburgh's online STEM information session. My name's Rayanne, and I'll be your host this evening. I do work in the admissions office here at SUNY Plattsburgh, and I'm joined tonight by two notable faculty members here on campus. So if the two of you wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves and maybe describing your roles on campus to start.
Hello, I'm Jan Plaza. I'm an associate professor at SUNY Plattsburgh, and I chair the computer science department.
And I'm Ed Miller. I'm the Associate Dean in the Arts and Science office, and I'm also a professor of chemistry, and that's about it.
Great, thank you guys. So you all know we also are joined by two currently enrolled students here, Ms. Alia, who is a biology major on a pre-med advisement track, and we also have Grace, who is an environmental science major as well. So we will hear from them a little bit later on in this presentation. So to give you an overview of kind of what to expect tonight, I'm going to spend the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes giving everybody an overview of the STEM field. At that point, we'll kind of transition on and talk about specific majors at SUNY Plattsburgh within the STEM field, and we'll then turn it over to our faculty members here. They can kind of give you a rundown of their departments if they're involved in one, and we'll open it up to Q&A. So any questions that you can think of for our faculty, definitely type those into our chat box here, and I'll be moderating that discussion throughout the night. At that point, we'll then switch over and welcome our two currently enrolled students here, and we'll do the same thing with them. So if you have any questions at all, type those into the chat box. I'll be moderating that discussion as well. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on my portion of the presentation and just giving kind of an overview of STEM. So I spent the last month or two, I'd say, doing some research and working alongside our Career Development Center here, or the CDC. Specifically the career counselor. And basically, my main findings were, number one, STEM jobs are growing. They're expected to number 9 million by the year 2022. That's an increase of 1 million jobs, a 13% growth increase. Secondly, the median salary for workers in the STEM field is over double the national average. So we're coming in at about $76,000 per year as the median salary within STEM fields. So I think the combination of there being demand for these jobs mixed with the salary being so high makes this a marketable profession for prospective students like yourself to become involved in. So as admissions professionals, a lot of the questions that we get asked are, what can I do with that major? What will that lead for in terms of a career for myself? So what I've done here is kind of make a compilation of all of the different job titles that you could see yourself in if you were to choose to major within the STEM field. So for example, if you're interested in the computer science field, you could find yourself as a computer support specialist, a computer systems analyst, information security analyst, software developer, database administrator, the list goes on and on. If you're interested more in the health sciences, maybe in a clinical setting or a lab setting, you could be a medical technologist, a genetic counselor, biomedical technician, or a chemist. If you're interested in the engineering portion of STEM, there are many different facets within engineering that you can get into. I listed 3 of the most fastest growing ones here: environmental engineer, biomedical engineer, and chemical engineer. If you're interested in the environmental science portion of STEM, you could become a geoscientist or an environmental scientist. So by no means is this an extensive list of everything that you can do. It's just meant to give you an idea of some real tangible outcomes for yourself if you were to major in one of these STEM fields. So what I've done next is kind of handpick 3 of these professions and then dive into it a little bit more specifically to give you specific job duties, as well as the job outlook or job growth, as well as median pay. So the first one I've chosen here is medical technologist. So at SUNY Plattsburgh, we have a Bachelor's of Science degree in medical technology. One of the main questions we get after that is, well, what do they do? What would I do with that degree? So medical technologists actually collect samples and perform tests to analyze body fluids, tissues, and other substances. So they're taking urine samples, they're taking blood samples, and they're going back in the lab to test and diagnose those samples. The job outlook by 2024 is actually at a 16% increase for this specific job, which is well beyond the national average. And last year's median pay in this job was over $50,000 per year. So if you're interested in getting involved in lab sciences, maybe in a more clinical setting, this may be a job for you that you haven't thought of yet. The next job that I chose to highlight was an environmental scientist. So at SUNY Plattsburgh, we have a really comprehensive Center for Earth and Environmental Sciences. And again, a common question after that is, what would I do with an environmental science degree? What do environmental scientists do? So they actually use their knowledge of natural sciences to work alongside policymakers or industry leaders to clean up polluted areas and reduce waste. The job outlook by 2024 is at an 11% increase, which is just above the national average. And the median pay for this job last year is actually well above the national average, coming in at just over $67,000 per year. And the last job I chose to highlight here is a computer systems analyst. Pretty much any job I found within the computer science realm was projected at a huge increase and a huge salary per year. So just to give you some reference, I got all of these facts and figures from the United States Department of Labor, the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, BLS.gov. I've included a reference slide at the end of this presentation for you if you are interested in going back in and learning some more on your own. But like I said, if you're able to go in there and check it out, the computer science programs are really increasing exponentially, as well as the pay. So for this specific job, I chose computer systems analyst. So they study an organization's current computer systems and then design system solutions to help that organization operate more efficiently. So they're bringing business and IT together to understand the needs and limitations of both. So this one's slated at actually a 21% increase by 2024, and the median salary within this field was almost at $86,000 per year. Now, the next thing I want to jump into is delve a little bit more into the STEM majors at SUNY Plattsburgh. So if one of those careers interested you, your next step would then be to pick a major that best suits you. So at SUNY Plattsburgh, here are the majors associated with the STEM field. They're all in our Division of Arts and Sciences. We do have 17 different science majors here at SUNY Plattsburgh. We offer some really broad-based programs, for example, biology, but also very specific programs as well, like the medical technology program I talked to you about, or the cytotechnology program, which is, most simply put, the study of cancer research. We do offer 5 pre-health tracks, so we do have Alya here tonight to talk about the pre-med health track, but also if you're interested in pre-dental, pre-optometry, pre-vet, or pre-pharmacy. We do have a number of computer science programs as well, including our brand new computer security program, which we are very excited about. And we do have an entire Center for Earth and Environmental Science, which Grace will be able to provide a little more insight into, but it does include 5 distinct majors, including geology, geography, environmental science, and environmental studies. So Grace will be able to speak to those a little bit later on in this presentation. But at this point, I'd like to kind of turn to our faculty. Maybe if the two of you would like to kind of just give a rundown of your departments, different majors offered, and course offerings too.
Computer Science Department offers major programs in 3 areas: computer science, computer security, and information technology. Maybe I will explain briefly the differences between these areas. Computer science is concerned with programming, software methodology, theoretical foundations, mathematical principles. It constitutes a base for innovation, and it also offers a good preparation for graduate studies if somebody chooses this. Computer security involves problem-solving, principles of software and configuration administration. It focuses on issues which constitute very serious problems and about which we hear almost daily in the news. Information technology is concerned with providing service to businesses and organizations in running their computer systems, networks, servers. In each of these areas, we offer either the Bachelor of Science degree or Bachelor of Arts degree. Bachelor of Science, in the case of computing, is the recommended degree. Bachelor of Science involves 50 to 60 credits, strictly in courses for the major. Students who need to first strengthen their mathematical preparation for pursuing such a major will take about 10 additional credits for that purpose. The programs involve both theoretical and applied courses, and also there is practical experience in forms of internships or special courses. Besides the majors, which I mentioned, we offer also a number of additional programs, minor programs, involving about 18 credits each. They are in the same areas, computer science, computer security, information technology, but beyond that, there are interdisciplinary minors in bioinformatics, robotics, web design, and programming. Robotics is an area where the program is constructed together with the Department of Physics, and there are tracks appropriate for physics students and for computer science students. Anybody who is contemplating a career in studying computing disciplines and a career in computing should be encouraged to look up the web pages of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Bureau of the Labor Statistics is a federal agency that gathers data concerning the job market and its possible developments. This is the most reliable source of information of what to expect on the job market. And in the case of computing, they list 10 occupation areas. This is in their Occupational Outlook Handbook. We already had some quotes from the same source concerning STEM careers in general, but I would like to mention more specifically what the Occupational Outlook Handbook says about computing. So for computing, there are 10 occupation areas there. 7 of them require a bachelor's degree, and this is for what we prepare. And I was happy to see that the median pay in these areas is between $76,000 and $98,000, depending on the specialization. So this is actually well above the average for all occupations and even for STEM occupations. Also, it was encouraging to see that 5 of these areas are projected to grow faster or much faster than average. And this is a projection they form for the period 2014 to 2024. I would like to also mention that computer science department moved to a new building about 3 years ago. We have modern facilities. We are very happy with this arrangement, and this provides a really good work environment for our students. And I will be happy to answer your questions.
Rianne, you want me to grab some of these questions, and then if people have other questions about majors?
Yeah, definitely. Let's start with some of these.
There's a question up there, and Dr. Plaza referred to it already, about internships. We have both on-campus experiential internships, independent studies, research experiences, and then some students also go off-campus to pursue those same types of things. While on campus, the activities involve, for example, computer science. We have students that work at our what's called a help desk. They work in networking with our actual professional computer scientists on campus. They also work in various companies off campus. If you're talking about chemistry, students often go off in the summer to work at various companies, and these relationships are set up between the student and the company that hires them. In terms of the biology area, in addition to the research in the lab with the faculty, we also have in the area interns set up with the local hospital, with the local nursing home, with a specialty facility which is does eye surgeries. So anyone interested in the pre-med field can go off and get experience working in that and see what it's like to actually be, you know, working with people who have illnesses. In terms of the pre-med application, there is no separate application to be accepted into the pre-med program. Basically, once you come, you can declare a range of majors. Actually, any of the majors that Rianne has up on the slide, which I think you're seeing, you could be one of those and go on to a medical career or medical education. You could even be a Spanish major if you wanted to be, and still go into medical school, as long as you take a certain set of college courses: general biology 1 and 2, general chem 1 and 2, organic chem 1 and 2, physics 1 and 2. Some other med schools require calculus. Sometimes they require English. And incidentally, I hate to say it, but I don't think the AP courses will count for some of the medical schools. They have to be college on-campus courses. When you get, for the pre-med, when you get to your junior year, you're going to go through our pre-health admissions committee, and they work with you in terms of getting your letters ready to send off to the medical schools. So we have a pre-med advising program. It's headed by Dr. Slish in the bio program, and Aya will probably talk about that if you have some more questions. In terms of getting into the honors program, I believe, can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, so you'll be automatically reviewed for the honors program when you apply to SUNY Plattsburgh. I believe it is a 92 high school average with a certain SAT requirement, which in the old SAT was, I believe, a 1220. I know that's shifting to a new SAT and the numbers are different there. But those were, with the old SAT, was around a 1220 and a 92. With that being said, if you're very passionate about being in the honors program, the director is very open and very willing to meet with anybody who did not meet those initial requirements to get into the honors program that way as well.
Yeah, one of the exciting things that we just underwent here at the campus, as Dr. Plaza mentioned, the computer science folks got a brand new home base, so to speak, with a network server room. We just finished a $34 million project on our science buildings, which we are fully opened about 2-3 years ago. And part of that renovation of the science facilities, we spent about $3.5 million on brand new state-of-the-art equipment, which I have to emphasize students get to use. In the environmental area, there are a lot of hands-on field trip type experiences. We have a special research, an affiliation with a special research facility called Minor Institute, where environmental scientists can spend a whole semester in residence every day just doing environmental science. I don't know if Grace, is it? Okay, so Grace can tell you a little about that if you have questions. It's kind of an exciting immersion type program. You have any?
Can you tell us about maybe the different courses that you teach at Plattsburgh, maybe your favorite courses that you teach to students?
At the computer science department, faculty teach a wide variety of courses. I would like to encourage you to look up this on the web pages of the college. There are, I don't remember the number, but there are more than 30 different courses, and we very often rotate who teaches what. In this way, students have an opportunity to hear different perspectives. Although, in the case of science, engineering, and technology, things are pretty clear-cut. There are no different opinions about how a computer works. But still different selection of optional material is provided because the course is taught in different semesters by different faculty members. I would like to address one more issue. The computer science department is happy to accept students. I mean, as long as they are accepted into the college, we are happy to accept students into our majors, basically independently of their background. So students who have a strong math background are welcome, but also those who do not have such a background. And we will recommend appropriate courses for them to get prepared for our more advanced courses. Also, many of the students transfer courses from high school AP courses or transfer courses from other colleges. These courses are always evaluated. We find our equivalents, and also there are cases when somebody gained experience in a particular area of computing through individual work, through their interests and hobbies. And in such a case, we talk with the student, we evaluate how much the student knows in that area and make sure that we do not put the student into a course which would be not new and possibly boring to the student. We have ways of directing students to courses which are of true benefit to them. Also, another question which I quite often receive from prospective students is how to choose between computer science, computer security, and information technology. I mentioned before the characteristics of these areas, but another important thing is to realize that during the first semester, the students in all these areas take about the same courses. So after it is easy to switch from one computing area to another after the first semester. And in this college, we have process of student advising, which involves an advising period in the middle of every semester. These are 2 weeks during which every student meets with their academic advisor. And this is a particularly good time to talk about some adjustments to what the major could be, and let's say switching from IT to computer science or things like that. Yeah, thank you.
I see a question come in. This is a common one that we get, especially for science programs. Is there a certain brand of laptop that's preferred, like Apple or a PC? Do you have a preference?
Well, the school doesn't have like a policy on everyone has to have the same computer, but our campus is pretty much PC oriented, although there are people who have Apple types computers, but you might want to, for computer science, there might be something more specialized.
Yes, so I'll offer a comment on how it is specifically in computing disciplines at our college. So while the general college computer labs use Windows computers, in computer science we use Linux. Linux is a free and high-quality operating system, which one can install on a Windows computer as a second operating system, so that the computer boots either in Windows or in Linux. Every student who comes here either has sufficient knowledge of Linux or is directed to one credit course which provides background for using such computers. Our students, most of our students have a computer at home, and for the work in computer science, any operating system will be sufficient. So students use Windows computers, Apple computers, and sometimes computers which run Linux. whatever operating system you choose, we will recommend appropriate software, free software, which can be added. Also, I'd like to mention that Computer Science Department has a Linux server to which students can connect remotely and do the work from home, but actually working on the server. And the appropriate software for connections is also free and will provide directions how to use it. On this occasion, let me mention that tablets are usually not enough to do the required work in computer programming.
Yeah, I think that's pretty true in the sciences too. If you have a tablet, it's usually, once you get into the more advanced courses in, say, environmental science or chemistry, where there's a lot of statistical analysis that's going to be done or data manipulations, you need to have the full PC capability.
Okay.
And maybe one last comment. You do not need a brand new cutting-edge computer to do your work. The tasks which you will be performing in the computer science program are taking notes, writing computer programs, running them. These tasks can be performed even on less powerful computers. Cutting-edge computers are important for gaming, but for studying computer science, it is not a requirement.
I see there's a person that asked about our reputation. We get that question quite often, like, how do you compare to the other schools or colleges that I'm thinking about going to? I can tell you we compare very well. We prepare students that go to the best graduate schools in the country, and they compete with students who come from unnamed Ivy schools or some of the other big land-grant college types of schools. Our students get into the best medical schools, they get into the best graduate schools, and also law schools, which probably sometimes you don't think about science relating to law, but we've had several students who have gone off to law school to practice patent law. I think Plattsburgh State is unique in that it allows you as a student to come and kind of design what you want to be. If you want to put the time in and the work in, you can be as good as you can possibly be and compete with the students from any school or college in the United States. So I don't know, I hope I answered the person with the question about our reputation.
I think so. Thank you. At this point, I want to switch out because I know you guys have questions for our students too. So if we kind of stop, thank you both so much for being here. So helpful. I'll get Grace and Alia coming through. Hello. Hi, guys. All right, so let's get started by, how are we looking on the screen? Are we all sitting in here good? Okay, so maybe we can start by stating your name, your major, and where you're from.
Okay. You want to start?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm Grace. I'm double majoring in environmental science, Bachelor of Science, and environmental planning and management with a Spanish minor. And I'm from East Aurora, which is near Buffalo, New York.
Can you push in just a little bit? I'm getting here.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
My name is Alia. I'm a pre-med biology student with minors in chemistry and English. I am a senior. I'm graduating this semester, actually, so that's pretty exciting. And I'm actually an international student from Malaysia.
All right, thank you. So I know a big question a lot of people have been asking are about specific hands-on experiences, research you've done alongside professors, maybe any internships, just any kind of hands-on learning experiences that you've personally had the chance to do here at Plattsburgh.
Right. I've been involved with a lot of extracurricular activities. Most of them were suggested by my advisor or my professors. So I've done GIS analysis on floodplains. I'm currently starting 2 independent studies, one with World Fuel Services, which is creating business plans for energy consumption in a company. And I'm also starting an independent study researching carbon exchange in the lake next to Plattsburgh called Lake Champlain. I volunteered with Dr. Garneau doing painted turtle research and Lyme disease research. What else? I did get an internship with the EPA, and that was in large part due to one of my professors, Dr. Liebensberger, who recommended that I apply, and he helped me through the application process. So there are definitely a ton of opportunities in Plattsburgh, especially if you get to know your professors. I mean, they know so many opportunities within and outside of school to get involved in research.
Can you talk a little bit more about, actually we're going to move to the next slide because the next slide is about internships. This is not an extensive list of everywhere that SUNY Plattsburgh students have interned at, but these are places that we do have relationships with and that we've sent students to in the past. So I thought this would be interesting for you all to see. But if you could talk a little bit more about specifically what you did at your internship, what you learned at your internship, and how it was so important to you.
The internship with the EPA?
Yeah.
So that was this past summer. It's actually a 2-year fellowship that supports me my junior and senior year of college. But for just a summer internship, I went to Oregon, lived in Corvallis for the summer, and I did research at an Office of Research and Development with the EPA, doing research on green roof design, specifically what media should be used on top of green roofs, so what media mixtures. It's pretty cool. Got to get real work experience in, and it was definitely helpful to figure out where I want to go with my career in the future.
Great, thank you. What about you, Alia?
And for me, it's interesting because I got to kind of try both in the sense of research as well as I did a little bit of volunteering/internship at a hospital. So with the research, I actually did one research in organic chemistry because I was interested in the drugs and how it's delivered into our bodies and things like that. And the biology research, on the other hand, was actually an advanced honors thesis. That is something that if you are interested in and want to do, we can have that discussion with Dr. Armstrong as well. It was a 1-year project. I got to attend a few conferences. I got to present my data, and our school actually won a couple of awards, which is nice. And on top of that, I did some volunteering/internship at the local hospital. It's only like a 5-minute walk from campus, so it really wasn't far. I did about 45, 50 hours at the emergency care center, and I got to kind of try not only the rounding aspect of talking to patients and stuff, but I also worked in the triage area, so you get to kind of see what's going on if you really want to go into the healthcare field. And on top of that, if you would like, there is also study abroad options if you want to do kind of like research abroad. Like I went to the United Kingdom with our partner school, and I did research on how we looked at bones in medieval medicine and how disease are seen in the bones like all these years later. It's really cool.
I would definitely recommend studying abroad. I went to Costa Rica last semester, and the nice thing about going to a SUNY school is that you have so many opportunities to study abroad because you can do any study abroad program through any SUNY school, which opens up many places that you can go.
Actually, over 400 locations to choose from, which is pretty awesome part about being the SUNY system. So something you touched on, Grace, I wanted you to expand upon maybe a little is how important it is to get to know your professors. Can you talk a bit about the class sizes at Plattsburgh and how that's helped you out with getting to know professors and what's that led for you professionally?
So I would say on average, my class size is maybe about 20 students. You'll occasionally be in a lecture hall with maybe between 100 and 200 students, but that's for classes like biology and chemistry, which have a lot of people participating in. There are also some seminar-style classes, especially if you're in the honors department, and those classes sometimes will only have like 6 to 8 students. So you really get to know your professors, and your professors get to know you. Like, I mean, I always feel like my professors know my name and know my major and what I'm interested in. So that definitely helps you, it'll help your professor know what you're interested in and recommendations that they can give you of extracurricular activities to get involved in. So.
What about you? Did you have anything to add?
Yeah, definitely, like, go to your advisors if you ever need help. Like, that's the great thing about Plattsburgh. I've always felt like I've had support regardless of whether it's with my career or what I want to do or my classes. I think there's one question we had, which is what type of career planning and other, like, resources we have on campus. We actually do have a lot in addition to, like, the Career Development Center, where they kind of help you kind of explore what happens after college, or even during college. You want to look at what internships our school have, any partner companies, we can do that as well. And for me, especially, like, I'm really close to my advisor, and I have three technically, because I have some minors as well, but I have a pre-med advisor. Dr. Slish is really great. He helped me with my lab tests, things like that. And on top of that, I have my regular advisor, and he's really cool, and his doors are always open, and we can just walk in and have a conversation, which is really important to kind of have that you're not just a number in a school, that people actually know who you are, and definitely take advantage of all the opportunities we have.
Yeah, I definitely would have answered that question the same way. We do have an entire office, Career Development Center, the CDC, who help career counsel students, but also you'll be getting to know your professors one-on-one, and you'll have at least one advisor, and those people will all help with your career planning process as well. So we do have quite a few other questions coming in. A lot of them have to do with student life, so I'll let you guys take some of them. One of them, we get this quite a bit, how safe is the campus? I always say it's extremely safe. You can see any of our crime statistics online. You'll notice they're very low. We do have an entire university police staffed on campus, so they're not security guards. They're actually full-blown police officers. We also have city police as well as state police all patrolling the Plattsburgh area. But it is a small town in a rural area, and people normally feel pretty safe here. We also have what we call the blue light system, so no matter where you're standing on campus, you'll be able to see a blue light. If you ever feel unsafe, you just have to tap the button, and a police officer will be there in less than 60 seconds. So have you ever felt unsafe at Plattsburgh, or what would you say as far as safety here?
I'm going to kind of kill two birds with one stone, because somebody also asked, where do undergraduate students typically live? You have options to either live on campus or off campus. For freshmen, I think your first year you have to live on campus, but after that you're allowed to move, or if you have a special reason. Like for me, I'm a resident assistant on campus, so every time, like, I'm walking back and forth, sometimes I have night labs. Like, I've never felt like I'm, you know, a certain type of way. And even if I did, the university police actually has this service where you can call them and be like, hey, I don't feel safe, can you walk home with me? And they'd be more than happy to do that with you. And I always tell my residents that as well, because they can even call me. RAs always give our numbers in case, like, our students ever need them.
Yeah. Would you have anything to add, or are you like?
I've always felt safe on campus. I mean, there's lighting everywhere, so you're never going to be walking in the dark somewhere, and there are the blue lights. You can always see one from any point on campus, so it's safe.
Okay, so we have some other questions coming in. What do students typically do for fun? You guys are very busy with a lot, so what do you do for fun?
I mean, there's a lot of options. That's the thing, like, with Plattsburgh, Montreal is like 45 minutes away. Burlington is also an hour away. But in Plattsburgh itself, like, we have a farmer's market every Friday, which is something you can do. But in addition to that, we also have clubs and organizations if you want to go out. And we also have fraternity and sorority life, if that's what you're interested in. Greek life is, it depends on what you're interested in, so.
The Adirondack Mountains are also, like, within 20, 30 minutes away, and that's where I usually go in my free time. I mean, you can go there for camping whenever you want, hiking, if you like climbing mountains. There's lakes all throughout the Adirondacks, so.
And we get discounted rates, too, at Whiteface.
So. Yeah, skiing during the winter.
Skiing and snowboarding is pretty big here, and we get discounted student rates on that. How many clubs and groups are available for students to participate in? Currently, we have 94. I just spoke with our Student Association president. He said he was hoping to get that up to 100 by the end of the semester. Any club that's on campus that, or if that's not on campus that you would like to get started, you can actually start your own club pretty easily. Do you guys want to talk about maybe the different clubs that you're involved in here to give them some ideas?
I've been part of the ukulele club. That was fun. The Environmental Action Committee is a good group if you're into environmental science. They organize events, especially during Earth Week. And then there's an outing club if you're interested in outdoor sports. I was part of that. They do, like, snowboarding and skiing trips, horseback riding, camping, and stuff like that.
And yeah, for me, you kind of get a little bit of both in the sense of we have academics, but we also have clubs that are for fun. Like for academics, if you are a pre-med or pre-health, we actually have an association. So we kind of do like MCAT questions together. We explore what options are out there for us. And also our seniors come in and tell us like, oh, so what happened? We had an alumni come back and he had this wonderful talk. And in addition to that, I was also part of Club International. I started a UNICEF chapter on campus, which, again, our school is really open to having new clubs. One of my friends, I think, she started a hula hoop club, which is really cool. And it's like, if there's 94 different clubs, you're going to find something that you really, really enjoy. So
definitely. Do TAs teach the classes? That's an absolute no. We do have TAs at Plattsburgh. They're there to assist professors. They'll do things like hold study groups, help grade quizzes, take attendance. They're really just there to support the professor, but they absolutely do not teach any classes. All classes are taught by faculty, which is something we're very proud of. How are advisors assigned? My sister's a bio major right now. Will I get the same advisor if I'm also a bio major? You could request that. It's a possibility, but your advisor will be anybody within that department. So if you're looking to get into biology, it'll be a faculty member within the biology field, so it is possible that you would have the same advisor. It's also possible you'd have a different biology faculty member. But if you'd like to make that request, it's definitely something that they would put into consideration if you just wanted to email the chair about that. What types of health and wellness services are available to students? So we do have a student health center on campus, in addition to the hospital, like Alia said, being literally right next door to campus. So if you have any type of issue, an ear infection, you have the flu, cold, any type of thing like that, you can just walk on to our student health center. There's a small fee built into your bill, so you don't have to worry about paying or anything like that. Have you guys utilized the student health center during your time here at all?
Yeah, it's really great because sometimes you know that you just have a sore throat and you would just like some drops. You can actually walk in and they have like this section where you can have like different bags. So if you have like a dry skin bag or you have like sore throat pack, so you don't actually have to physically go in and see a nurse if you know like, oh, this is just another cold. So it's really great.
Yeah, and then as far as wellness programs, I know like especially around the time of finals, classes, like they bring in like service dogs for you to pet in the college center. So they'll be putting on like different programs like that too to make sure everybody's happy and doing well also. Okay. Wow, a lot more. Is it easy to obtain on-campus housing? On-campus housing is guaranteed for students all 4 years. It is required to live on campus for your first 2 years unless you're within a 50-mile radius and you can commute from home. Otherwise, you're required to live on campus for your first 2 years. It is guaranteed for all 4 years if you would like to stay on campus for your final 2 years as well. What types of meal plans are offered for freshmen? There is just one meal plan, and that's the Unlimited Swipes meal plan. So we like to kind of say that freshmen don't really know exactly all the services that are offered or what's going to be their favorite. So we put them all on one meal plan, and that is the Unlimited Swipes. After you've had a year and you can kind of see, oh, I eat here more, I eat here more, you can mix and match and kind of develop your own meal plan. Would you guys have anything to add about meal plans or? But for your freshman year, it'll be just the one.
Like, I wouldn't worry about it just because you'll know once you get on campus. Yeah. Like, the unlimited meal plan is really helpful because, like, I didn't want to worry about that just coming in. And I was never hungry. If you were ever worried about that, don't worry. So
you won't go hungry.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
Okay. How close are the on-campus student housing facilities to academic buildings? They're close. The campus from furthest point to furthest point is a 10 to 15-minute walk. The way it's kind of laid out, all of the academic buildings are on one side and then all of the housing buildings are on another side. But I would say absolutely no further than a 15-minute walk. Most, I would say, are within 5 to 10 minutes walking distance. How competitive is it to enroll in desired courses at convenient times? So it's very easy to enroll at 8 a.m. courses, for example. But no, I was a student here. I never had any problems. Definitely the more entry-level classes, there's lots of seats open, and those are available to the freshmen and sophomores. As you get higher up, there's fewer and fewer seats available, so you're going to want to get in those courses. But the higher up that you get, the earlier you can enroll in those courses. So if you're a senior, you're going to get first dibs on those classes, and then so on and so forth going down. Have you guys ever experienced any problems enrolling in what you need to enroll in?
I never, but one of my friends, like, she needed physics to graduate, and none of the labs fit her schedule. She actually talked to the professor, and they actually managed to figure something out because she needed the class to graduate. So I wouldn't worry too much about if you're actually graduating and you need the class. You can always talk to your professor, an advisor, or something like that. So. Yeah,
definitely. If it's going to affect with your graduation or your progression within your major, I would say definitely reach out to the faculty, and they'll usually arrange something for you. Okay, how easy would it be to change majors, especially in the STEM programs? Did either one of you ever switch majors?
I added on a major during my sophomore year, I believe. I added on the planning and management major, and it was no problem. I also added on my Spanish minor halfway through my freshman year. You just need to talk with your advisor, and they'll help you plan out if you're going to have time to graduate on time if you're going to change your major. And usually it will work out fine.
And also we have the catalog online, I guess, and we also have the physical copy of the catalog when you actually come for a tour or something, and you can look at some of the classes. It really depends on what major you're changing into and what major you're currently in, because some classes do overlap, but not all of them. So I can't promise you anything, but I've never heard anybody having like a huge issue with changing majors.
Yeah. Okay, the last question I think that we have to answer up here is, do the kitchens within the dorms provide options for those with dietary restrictions? You're an RA, you can speak to this.
Yes, of course. All of our eating facilities, we have a vegetarian section. We also have a gluten-free section if you need those. And let's say you need halal meat. You can actually meet with the dining halls and have that listed as an option, and they can kind of organize something for you. We're really, really open with things like that because we do get a very diverse campus. We have 6,000 students, 400 of those are international. So we try to accommodate everyone, and that's why CAS has been really awesome with that, as well as the dining facilities.
They also have signage on all of their food that says if it's gluten-free or vegetarian, so that's very helpful.
All right, so I think we made it through all of the questions. This is your last chance effort to, if you have any questions, type them now or forever hold your peace. So we're going to wrap up. I do have just 2 more slides for you. The next one, I had mentioned earlier, I got all of my statistics when I did my research, and I know Dr. Plaza mentioned it as well. The United States Department of Labor, specifically the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's BLS.gov. So if you heard any of my findings be interesting and you wanted to check it out more yourself, definitely go to that website. Everybody will be emailed a link to this presentation probably tomorrow, so that'll be up there for you to see as well. And the last thing I wanted to mention is to come visit us. We have 2 open houses coming up, October 29th and November 12th, so if anything we said here today sounded interesting or enticing to you, definitely come up and see us on campus. See the brand new science complex that we have here, the new computer science building, speak with students, be shown around campus, meet with faculty. The best way to do all of that is at an open house where it's all kind of laid out for you. So when we close out the presentation, you'll actually be directed automatically to our visit page, and that's where you can register for those open houses if that is something that you're interested in. So that actually concludes our presentation tonight. I want to thank you all so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great night.